It's been raining all day and finally stopped. A late afternoon, breaking the weather. Time to get back on the job. I've had a good day today, sort of. Because of the rain, I took Isaac swimming, and while I was there, a lot of youth, because of the school holidays, a lot of young people splashing around, and I was floating around about up to there, and I looked sideways and I seen a head come up with a lot of hair, and a face came out the water and went back down again, and came back up, and the arm was waving and went back down again, came back up, arm waving, back down again, and I suddenly realised that this person was in trouble. So I made my way over there, and it was a young girl, about, I don't know, 9 or 10 years old, and she'd gone out of her depth. She was about a head out of her depth and she couldn't swim, and she was desperate. So I just picked her up under the arms and said, it's okay, I've got you now, you're okay now, you just calm down and I'm going to walk you down to the shallow end. And so I started walking her down to the shallow end, and as I was doing this, the lifeguards became aware of the situation and came round to the side and beckoned me over to the side. So I took her over, sat her up on the side, and she was very distressed and frightened. She was okay sitting up, but she was frightened and well shaken, as you can imagine. And they calmed her down and sorted her out. But it was just great to be there, and I really feel thankful inside of being able to do that. I'm thankful for being in that place at that time. Okay. Yeah. Right. Got a good start on the new Bobcat. Blade's still too fat, got to be taken down quite a lot. Shape's there, looking good. Heavy. You start grinding down the edge, it will lose a lot of weight. So I'll grind it down to a convex edge, like convex edge. I think a convex edge is easier to keep sharp in the field, and as you start grinding down that convex edge, it takes a lot of grinding to get it down to a working convex edge, to a convex edge that is going to do the job. So press on with the grind. I've used a lot of sharp and dangerous tools in my time. Different jobs I've done. I've used large hammers, kangos, drills, pneumatic drills, axes, saws, chainsaws, knives, chisels, etc. Now, I'm not an expert. I'm no knife expert, and I'm not claiming to be an expert. But I do know one thing. I know something really important, and that is that they are all very sharp. They are sharp. And in a second, they'll split you open. And in a second, if you're not careful, you can split someone else open. Okay, here's a selection of that sort of stuff. Cold Steel Recon 1, Bobcat. This new Bobcat is still fairly safe, as you can see. It's not got much of a cutting edge, so no problems. A Heli Harding, which some of you have seen my 4-year-old daughter having lessons with. For those of you who are interested, the video is called Bushcraft Kindergarten or something along those lines. Okay, bow saw. There it is. That's what it looks like. Very sharp. And new Wetterlings axe I got. Cheap. Because it was priced up wrong. I did offer to pay the right price, but he said, being as you found it, you can have it. And I ceased to argue with him. Really nice size splitter, especially for the boys. The boys can handle this a lot easier than they can my my large log splitter. Good size for the lads, whom I've taught to handle these things correctly, I believe. Okay, let's take the saw first. A saw always comes with some kind of sheath or covering, and that sheath or covering always stays upon the saw when it's not in use. Always stays upon the saw when it's not in use. Now, with all things we learn about, there's no problem with learning. There is no embarrassment in learning. There is no reason to feel that you're inadequate or anything with learning. Learning is learning. Learning is not embarrassing. Learning leads to empowerment. So we just learn. We need to learn. There's stuff we need to learn. Let's learn it. Okay, you take the guard off the sword. Each one. Oh, okay, you take the guard off the saw. Each one of these points is very sharp. You only need to touch it on your finger, and you're going to make a hole, and you're going to bleed. So when you take one of these in your hand, the first thing you do is you look around. Take a knife, an axe, or a saw in your hand. First of all, you need to know who's standing where, who's around you. Always try to keep the blade of any sharp instrument facing away from you and away from other people. Okay. So, when we're sawing a piece of wood, okay, when we've used a saw, we have to put it down for a while. Never leave a saw. If you need to rest the saw there, you never leave a saw like that. You'd never leave a saw sitting like that. You'd never leave a saw resting like that. You'd never leave a saw resting like that. Because the problem with that is anybody can come along, slip, fall. That can be sitting like that. That can be sitting like that. And a child can come running around the corner and just slip. And you cut some of these arteries around here and you're finished. A saw is always stored blade down. You put it down, blade down. when we're using anything sharp, we need to be focused and paying attention to what we're doing. Now there's people that can use things really fast, that are trained and practiced and been using them for years, and they can get things out and they can use them really fast. Now the chances are they've been training and they've learned by experience and they can use things really fast. But when you first start off, you can't use things really fast. When you first start off, you've got to be very careful and take things very slowly and really think about every single move that you're making. Is what I'm doing now safe? Is what I'm doing now safe? Have I put that down safe? And so what we do is we train ourselves. We train ourselves to be able to handle and cope and use these dangerous things. Okay. So never stash something, never leave that like that. That's terrible. That's down, that's okay. Blade facing down, fine. Right, okay. Next thing, when we come to saw a piece of wood, now we can put things in vices and we can put things on trestle tables and things like that, but when you're out in the woods and stuff, there's no trestle tables and no vices, there's nothing. So you're going to have to find a way of securing whatever it is with your foot, with your hand, making sure it's not going to roll around or anything, otherwise you're wasting your energy and your time. So you put your saw on there and you pull gently back and gently forward to create a groove to start. Slowly, slowly. When you've created enough of a groove, then you get up some speed and don't use a little part of the blade like that, else you're going to waste your energy. If possible, use the whole of the blade. When you feel yourself coming towards the edge, slow down and just chip it off. Keep your hands away. Slow down, finish it off. Okay. So if you've got to do it with your hand, if you have to do it with your knee. Now, I'll give you a story. One time when I was, well, I still am a bit of a dunce. When I was an even bigger dunce than I am now, at one time, I thought I'd saw a piece of wood at a bit of a funny angle and I thought I was being really clever. And I started sawing and sawing and I started going for it like mad, and as I did that my finger was there like that, and as I did that my saw came off at the end of that stroke and landed on my finger there, and I automatically just redrew the stroke like that, and guess what? Right down to the bone. And I didn't faint, but you feel like you're going to faint, you feel like you're going to throw up, and you have a look in the split and you can see all the bone and everything down there. And at the time I was living that a bit wild at the time, and all I could get my hands on was a bottle of surgical spirits. So I got the bottle of surgical spirits, poured it in the hole, soaked a rag in it, wrapped the rag round it, shut the wound of course, wrapped the rag round it and left it. And that was me, because I was a bit wild in them days, you see. But it was okay. I took the rag off after a while and I got a big bump, and it got a bit of sort of oozy stuff coming out of it. But guess what? I wanted some wood for the fire, so I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll chop myself some wood up for the fire. So being as it was in my bad stupid old early days, yeah, I got my piece of wood and I got it like that, and I went chop, chop, and guess what I did next? I chopped the lump off me. I chopped the lump off my sawn finger. Now,
I didn't feel very well. I felt that was absolutely disgusting. I rolled around for a while. My eyeballs rolled around all over the place, and I nearly fainted again, and I nearly threw up again. And then I sat down and thought, okay, I think I need to learn something here about these things. I think it's about time I learnt my lesson, because I cannot absolutely bear to do that again. So that was my lesson. But if my lesson can help you to do things better, great. I've still got the scar there today, of course, and I've got a little bit of a bump there, but you know, it's okay now. But you don't want it. If you can learn from my pain, go for it. Be careful. These things, knives and axes and saws, are great items to have, and we need to really respect them, and we need to treat them right with caution. And when we first start using them, we are slow and deliberate, and we think about what we're doing. And later on we may be able to speed up, but a lot later on. First of all, always be careful about what you're doing. So this is the introduction to this, I don't know if it's going to be a series or what. A lot of you. I mean, that's put a lot of you off straight away. But yeah, listen guys, young guys, be careful. I've cut myself many times. You ask anybody who uses knives, cutting yourself is par for the course. Cutting yourself is something that happens quite a lot. But how badly you cut yourself is the problem. Okay. Watch out for the tigers. I think it's time a few of us went over the basics, just for the sake of a lot of up and coming young knife using, sharp tool using YouTubers. I believe we owe them if we've led them in this path, we owe them the responsible lessons. I believe if they followed us down this path, then we owe them the responsible lessons that go with the path.